Hi everyone, my name is Wayfarns and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys about what you guys need to do when you guys are buying a new plant, and also how to take care of your new plant. One of the plants that I did recently buy is this Alocasia fried egg variegated. This has been popping up everywhere in Costco's all over California. I first noticed it when I went shopping and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. This is a rare and grail plant that I really wanted for such a long time. I actually had 3 of these, and every single time I've had them, they died. So if you're looking to buy a very cheap and moderately easy plant, go to your local Costco if it's available and buy one of these. These are around $25 each. They went down in value surprisingly, because they used to be around maybe over $100 for a small like 2-inch plant, but now you're getting this 10-inch plant for 25 bucks, which is crazy how much the market has gone down with these. So I'm going to teach you everything and show you everything about buying this plant and what you guys need to do after you guys are buying it and bringing it home. When you're at the store and you see a plant that you like, there is a list of things that you need to consider before bringing the plant home, okay? So one of the things that you need to do if you see a plant that you like is that you need to look around, like you move the leaves, you check the soil, you check literally every single part of the plant to make sure that there's no bugs, there's no pests running around, and also there's no diseases as well, because if you bring these home to your collection and you put it with other plants in your collection, it can cause a spread of diseases or pests, and it becomes a bigger issue over time. So while you're at the store, the first thing that you should always do is to take out your phone, right? You turn your phone's flashlight on, and then you look around, and then you put the light behind your leaves, because if you see a shadow that is casted whenever you're looking around, there's a possibility that there are pests there or maybe some kind of debris. If you see the shadow, what you want to do is you flip the leaf over and you look at it to see if it's just like maybe dirt or if it's pests. If it's a pest, there are some things that you want to consider. So there is a motto that you should follow whenever you see pests, okay? Especially, this is another thing that you can also consider when you're at home as well, okay? So it's fast is friend, slow is foe, okay? Meaning that any type of pest or bug that you see on your plant, if it's a fast moving plant, there's a high likely chance that it's a friend, and it's not going to be a problem for your plant. But if it's a slow moving pest or bug, that means that it could be potentially dangerous for your plant. So those are some things to consider as well. When you're making the choice inside the store, right, like I said, look through everything and then consider whether or not to bring it home. This plant has been I bought it a week or 2 ago, and I actually bought it home. I kept it quarantined from my other plants for that amount of time, because I still need to check around and look around before I add it to my collection, before I start doing my repots and everything, because I want this plant to last, and I don't want any issues that this plant has that can go onto my other plants. So it's important that once you bring your plant home that you picked, that you quarantine them for at least 1 to 2 weeks. And when you're done, after that, you are ready to repot it, to put it inside a different pot, and also to do whatever you really like. Because, you know, these plants make you feel good and make you feel happy. And it's hard because as soon as you bring it home, you want to put it into your collection and everything, but you got to take a step back and realize that if you take these plants from an unknown source and then you put it with your other plants, it can cause more problems than anything, okay? So just make sure to quarantine them when you bring it home. So the next step for this plant would be to take it out of its original pot that it came with and to take out as much soil as possible and to wash off the roots a little bit, and then we're gonna start our repot. So what I like to do is to like just open up the trash can and just, squeeze as much of the pot as possible and just try to get a lot of the soil in here. So the thing is with store-bought plants is that they're using like very low quality soil, and it's important that we change it out as soon as we can, just because they're just very low quality, and then it doesn't give a lot of aeration for some of these plants that we need. So that's why we're switching it to another substrate. Yes, like oh snap. Yeah, let me redo that. Oh shoot, okay. Yeah, for me, it's just that I've had a lot of plants, and they've always done better with my substrate, and I don't like using soil mixes just because there's a lot of factors inside of soil that just doesn't work really well for me. Some of the things is that soil has like a lot of organic material in there, so they can have like a bacteria and a bunch of other things that can be beneficial for plants as well. But with this like organic material inside, it can cause like more root rot, and that's the main thing that I'm trying to avoid, because these plants, I want to keep them for a really long time, and unfortunately having organic matter inside of this would cause more problems. But there is a trade-off too to having soil versus having a soilless mix, because with soilless mix, the plant is not going to have all the nutrients that it can find inside that substrate, so you have to supplement it in a different way. And I will show you how to do all that as well, but first thing is to just try to get as much soil off as possible. I did a pretty poor job, and I have to probably clean my trash can a little later. But look at this, see? All the roots look really good, and it's still awesome. So I'm gonna take it and then put it in the sink. So the main thing that I'm trying to do is to get off as much soil as possible before putting it in to its new pot, and to give it a new substrate. Also, when you look at these, right, there's they call it the death plug, okay? This is like what they come in seedlings, and it's like foamy hard material. It's important to try to remove as much as possible, just so then the roots can actually breathe a little better. No corms in here. Also, when you actually when you're actually repotting this, try to find some corms, because they're little tiny like babies that you can pull out, and then you can put into another pot and then just regrow another plant. It's really cool. And alocasias are one of those plants that do this. So if you're ever repotting and you find it, just pull it right out, stick it into a new substrate, and then you'll have a brand new plant. Okay, this is the best I can do, if you can tell. There's still a lot of like material on there. I mean, I'll try to get more of it, but honestly, this is not too bad. You can have like some stuff, it doesn't have to be completely clear, but you just want most of the soil to be off, and then just start repotting. So once you're done trying to get out as much soil as you can from your plant, the next step is to repot it, okay? So today I am going to be using a self-watering pot. This is the first time I've ever been using one. From my understanding, it's a lot better to use these just because it saves you a lot of time when it comes to watering, because you put these strings on the bottom, and the plant will automatically take as much water as it needs over time. So you just have, so you're going to be, it's going to get enough water, like the perfect amount of water every single time. And also there's a little reservoir on the bottom as well, so you can just water it one time and it'll slowly suck up the water and everything, and then it'll have what it needs for a long period of time. So that means less watering for you. Okay, so this is a self-watering pot that I bought off Amazon. I will link it in the description below. Also, the next thing that you're going to need is your handy dandy Aroid mix. Okay, so I've talked about this in my other videos. My Aroid mix contains orchid bark, cocoa chips, perlite, charcoal, and what else did I put in there? I think that's it. Yeah. So I put orchid bark, cocoa chips, charcoal, and perlite in there. There's not a serious ratio that I follow or anything, but I just put it all in there, and I literally use this for all my plants, and it gives it enough water and aeration that it's going to be perfectly fine for a lot of the plants that I do own. That's going to be the same case for this alocasia that we're using today, because alocasias are aroids, and they do like to stay on the wet side just like anthuriums. So that's why having a self-watering pot is going to be very beneficial. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be the reservoir on the bottom. This is a lip for the for pouring in the water, I believe. And these are the strings that you need to put on the bottom. This is a 2-pack and it's plastic. I honestly wanted it to be big enough for the plant, and I think it's a little too big now that I think about it, but we're gonna work with what we have. So first thing first is to put the string in here like so. There's like circles in there to determine whether or not to, where to put the strings in. So you're gonna have it dangling like this, okay? So when you put this reservoir under like this, it's going to allow the string to touch the water and to bring it up over time. So I'm gonna put this right here. Oh, where does this go actually? Oh, sorry. Okay, so it does go there, and then I flip this, and then it goes here on the outside. So this is just like a cover for the water, I believe. Okay. So let me take this out. We will need this right now. And I'm going to get this. Okay. So most of the time I don't like putting a pot that's way too big for the plant, but I kind of underestimated the size of it, so I guess I have to work with what I have. Okay, so first things first is to start putting as much orchid bark inside of here. Man, that's a lot too. So because it's so much, I like to put like a lot on the very bottom, just so then it doesn't stay too low. Okay, so I've actually put like maybe I would say half to 3/4 of the container with orchid bark or orchid mix, And then what I want to do is that I would want to take the plant and see how it would look or how it would go. You see, when I put it right there, right, I realized that, look, like it's too long. So I want to take out more orchid bark, right? So then it's a little bit lower. Okay. So I think that having this plant right here at this depth is going to be very beneficial. So because I've figured that out, I'm going to just put all the rest of the orchid mix inside there while holding on to the plant so it stabilizes. Over time, when your plant starts to grow and develop, it will start being able to hold on to the soil or substrate by itself. But as of right now, it's going to be a little wonky just because you're repotting it. And that's completely normal. Also, sometimes if you are changing your soil, your plants can actually experience something called soil shock. That just means that it's moving into a very new environment that it's unfamiliar with. So it's going to take some time to recover. Having and owning plants it teaches you how to be a lot more patient with things, just because plants are living things and they need time to recover and to like figure out its way to like survive. So when you're putting them into new environments, it has to like figure out what to do in order to survive in that area. Put this. Let's go. Yeah, this is going to be really messy, but that's okay. The crazy thing is I'm currently dealing with two separate pest issues in my apartment. I have scales on my platyceriums, and I have a spider mite issue going on with one of my calatheas over there. So I'm quarantining my calathea, but for my other plants, I've been treating it with insecticide. It's been working. I've seen a lot less of the scale now, and I'm just a lot happier now that that it's being controlled. Just because these are very unique and dear plants to me, so I'm doing my best to treat them. Alrighty. Maybe a little bit more on the very top. Okay. Okay, and ta-da! We did it! Look at that, okay? So what I'm gonna do next is to water this this plant thoroughly, and after I'm done with watering, I'm going to fill this up with with some of my diluted fertilizer and water, and I'm just gonna keep it at the very top, so then over time it just waters itself. That's literally everything that I did. It's really cool. I think it's, look, we can give it a 360. Look at all that. Beautiful. Beautiful. There is my plant, guys. This is how everything looks afterwards. And now I'm just pouring in the water just so then it can keep it hydrated and it will uptake its water over time. This is just some diluted fertilizer, just so then it can get the nutrients that it needs, just because that this is a soilless mix, and it's gonna stay healthy and happy. And there you have it. This is how you repot a new plant that you bought from a big box store. I want to say thank you to everyone for watching my YouTube channel. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Also, we hit 300 subscribers. I honestly can't believe that 300 of you guys have started watching and following my plant journey. I do appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.